Do you ever hear phrases in English that just don't quite make sense? Things like a blessing in disguise, or maybe break the ice.
Yeah, those can be tricky.
What if I told you that getting the hang of just a few idioms could make your daily conversations sound, well, more natural, more fluent,
It really can make a difference.
ready to speak English like a native, with real clarity and confidence? You're listening to Crystal Clear English Podcast. Learn English the crystal clear way. Now, as this is our very first deep dive together, there's no previous one to look back on just yet.
Starting fresh.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But from our next deep dive onward, we'll definitely remind you what we covered before. That way, we can build your fluency step by step.
Sounds like a good plan.
So today we're jumping into a really interesting topic, English idioms.
Idioms. Love them and sometimes find them baffling.
Right. They aren't just quirky little sayings. They're more like, well, the linguistic fingerprints of native speakers, wouldn't you say?
That's a great way to put it. Absolutely essential if you want to sound like you truly belong in an English conversation.
So our mission, our goal for this deep dive is basically to demystify these phrases that can often seem confusing.
To make them crystal clear.
Precisely, making them crystal clear for you.
And that's perfect because idioms often feel a bit like a puzzle when you first hear them.
They really do.
Fundamentally, an idiom is a group of words, right? But the overall meaning, it's completely different from the literal meaning of each word on its own.
So you can't just add up the word meanings.
Exactly.
Oh.
It's not about adding up word one plus word two. You have to understand the whole phrase as like a single unit of meaning.
Okay, so when we hear that classic example, it's raining cats and dogs, my first thought is always, wow, that's some weird weather.
Yeah, you definitely picture something strange falling from the sky, but really, it just means it's raining very, very heavily.
Right. No actual pets involved.
No pets involved, thankfully. Idioms really are like a kind of secret code within the language.
A secret code. I like that.
Yeah, when you first encounter them, they can definitely be confusing, a bit of a riddle. But once you crack that code, once you understand them, your English just becomes so much more fluent.
More expressive, too.
Absolutely. Expressive, natural. You move beyond just stringing words together, and you start using the real rhythm and color of the language.
Okay, but given that they can be confusing at first, why should you, our listener, really invest time in learning them? What makes idioms so important for real fluency?
That's a really key question, and there are several very practical reasons. Think about your everyday interactions.
Okay.
If you want your speech to sound casual, natural, native-like, idioms are crucial, especially just in normal conversation. They add that layer of authenticity.
Yeah, it's like adding the right seasoning, isn't it? Makes the whole thing taste better, or sound better, I guess.
Exactly. It elevates the communication, and it's not just about sounding good when you're chatting.
Right, there's more to it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If you're, say, studying for exams or writing essays, using idioms strategically can really make your work stand out.
How so?
Well, it shows you have an advanced vocabulary. It shows you understand the nuances, the subtleties of English beyond just basic grammar. It signals a deeper level of skill.
Okay, makes sense. What about, like, work situations?
Oh, hugely important there, too. In meetings, presentations, even just emails, idioms pop up all the time. Understanding them helps you avoid misunderstandings, obviously.
Yeah, that's crucial.
And it helps you communicate much more effectively with colleagues, with clients. You sound like you're really part of the conversation.
That's a huge point. And even beyond using them yourself, just understanding them must unlock a lot. Like when you're watching movies or TV shows?
Oh, constantly. I mean, how often have you been watching something and heard a phrase and just thought, wait, what did they mean by that?
All the time.
Exactly. Idioms are just woven into popular culture, into media. Understanding them helps you get the dialogue, get the jokes, appreciate the cultural context. So whether you're a student, a professional, or maybe just curious about English, getting idioms really unlocks that deeper level of understanding and expression. It's more than just words. It's about communicating naturally, authentically.
Okay, I'm convinced. Let's unpack this. Are you ready? Because we're about to dive into 10 common, everyday English idioms.
Let's do it.
We'll give you clear explanations, some real-life examples for each one so you can start recognizing them, understanding
Great.
them.
I mean, start using them.
Exactly. Using them with confidence, maybe even today. All right, let's kick things off. Idiom number 1 is one that often flips a negative into a positive. A blessing in disguise.
Yes. This one means something that seems bad or unlucky at first, but it actually turns out to be good in the end.
like finding a hidden positive.
Precisely. Recognizing that silver lining in what looked like a bad situation.
Okay, let's hear the examples. They really help. Losing that job was a blessing in disguise. I found a better one soon after.
See? Looked bad, turned out good.
Or, how about this? Missing the train was a blessing in disguise. It broke down later anyway.
Phew.
Yeah, that definitely captures that shift in perspective. The initial disappointment becomes something beneficial. It's all about hindsight, really. Looking back and seeing the good that came from the bad.
Finding that hidden advantage. Okay, got it. From that twist of fate, let's go to something much simpler. A piece of cake.
Oh, this one's easy. It just means something is very, very easy to do.
Like eating cake.
Pretty much. The image itself conveys simplicity, effortlessness.
Okay, examples. That exam was a piece of cake I finished in 20 minutes. Lucky them.
Right. No sweat.
Or learning to use this new app was a piece of cake. So it describes something with basically no challenge involved.
Exactly. Super straightforward.
Moving on. Our third idiom, a dime a dozen, talks about things being really common.
Yes, it refers to something that's very common, very easy to find. The implication is often that it's not particularly special or valuable because there's just so much of it.
Like, historically, a dime could buy you a dozen of something cheap. That's the origin, yeah. It connects to low cost and being widely available.
Okay, and some modern examples. Fake news articles are a dime a dozen online.
Sadly true, they are everywhere.
Or cheap plastic toys like these are a dime a dozen, meaning they're common, maybe not very high quality or unique.
Precisely. Ubiquitous, not much special value.
Okay, now for one that sounds a bit harsh. Add insult to injury.
Ooh, yeah. This means you make a bad or difficult situation even worse, even more unfair or unpleasant by doing something else negative on top of it.
Like piling on.
Exactly like piling on when someone's already down.
And, oh boy, these examples really capture that feeling. First, he forgot my birthday. Then he laughed about it, adding insult to injury.
Ouch, that definitely stings.
Or, it started raining, and to add insult to injury, I lost my umbrella.
Ugh, Murphy's Law right there. Both situations were already bad, and then boom, something else makes it worse. It really rams up that feeling of unfairness.
Definitely. Okay, number 5. This one describes speed, at the drop of a hat.
This means immediately, right away, without any delay or hesitation at all.
The image is like super fast.
Yeah, almost comically fast, like someone's ready to go before the hat even hits the ground.
Huh. Okay, so this is great for describing someone who's always ready, maybe really responsive, like she's ready to travel at the drop of a hat.
Adventurous type, always prepared.
Or he will help you at the drop of a hat. He's really supportive. Means they don't hesitate. They just jump in to help.
Exactly. Very quick to act.
Okay, quick pause here. Enjoying this deep dive? If so, please follow and subscribe for more crystal clear English lessons. Let's keep rolling with our idiom exploration.
Number 6 is back to square one.
Ah, yes. This one vividly means starting over, right from the very beginning, usually because whatever you tried before didn't work out or got messed up.
Like in a board game, you land on a bad spot and have to go all the way back.
Exactly that feeling, losing all your progress.
You can almost feel the frustration in the examples. The plan didn't work, so we're back to square one. All that effort may be wasted.
Or, I lost the file back to square one on that report.
Yeah.
That's painful. It really captures that feeling of having to restart everything.
Definitely a frustrating one to experience.
Okay, next up. Barking up the wrong tree. I love the visual for this one.
Me too. It means you're blaming the wrong person, or you're focusing your efforts or attention on the wrong thing. You're completely mistaken about where the problem or the solution lies.
Like a dog barking at a tree, but the squirrel's actually in the next tree over.
Precisely. A totally misguided effort.
It's a great way to point out a mistake. Examples. If you think I broke your phone, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Translation. It wasn't me. Look elsewhere.
Or, blaming traffic for being late. You're barking up the wrong tree. It's poor time management.
Ooh, calling someone out? Yeah, pointing out the real source of the problem.
Okay, moving to one we probably all do sometimes, or see others do. Beat around the bush.
Yes, this means avoiding the main point, not saying something directly, often because the topic is maybe awkward or sensitive or just difficult.
So instead of being direct, you talk around the issue.
Exactly. You circle it, you hedge, you don't get straight to it.
We've all been there, right? Like, don't beat around the bush, just tell me what you think. You just want the honest truth.
Please just say it.
Or, he was beating around the bush instead of admitting his mistake. That captures that hesitant, indirect kind of communication perfectly.
Yeah, avoiding the difficult part.
All right, number 9. This was super common, especially in certain situations. Break a leg.
Ah, yes. This is a really common, friendly way to wish someone good luck, especially before something like a performance or maybe an exam, an interview.
Any kind of challenge, really.
Pretty much. And even though it sounds, well, a bit violent,
Right. Break a leg.
it's completely positive. The story goes it comes from theater superstition. Saying good luck was considered bad luck, so they said the opposite.
Wow, that really shows how non-literal idioms are and how much culture is wrapped up in them. The examples nail it. You've got this interview, break a leg.
Standard good luck wish.
And she told me to break a leg before my dance show. It's all about wishing them success and a great performance.
Purely encouragement.
Okay? And our final idiom for today, number 10. This one is all about social situations. Break the ice.
This is a really useful one. It means to do or say something to make people feel more relaxed and comfortable. To get a conversation started, especially when things feel a bit tense or awkward or just quiet.
Like when you first meet people or start a meeting.
Exactly. It's about melting away that initial stiffness or shyness.
Well, we all need icebreakers sometimes.
Yeah.
Example, I used a funny story to break the ice during the meeting.
Good tactic. Eases the tension right away.
Or asking a light question can help break the ice with strangers. Just helps get people talking and feel more connected.
Makes those first few moments much smoother.
Okay, wow. Let's just take a breath and think about that journey. We've gone through 10 really common idioms. From a blessing in disguise, seeing good in the bad, all the way to break the ice, connecting with people. It really shows how varied these phrases are, doesn't it?
It really does. And how often they pop up in just normal everyday English. They're everywhere once you start listening for them.
It's so true.
And what's fascinating, I think, is how these phrases, which might seem confusing at first glance, are actually so vital for sounding natural, for sounding fluent.
It's more than just vocabulary words.
Oh, much more. Understanding them is about getting the culture, the nuances, the sort of subtle ways native speakers talk. When you start to integrate these, when you understand them, you're not just learning English words.
Yeah.
You're starting to really feel the language.
To live it, as you said earlier.
Exactly. They're absolutely key to making your communication feel authentic, effortless. You could even try grouping them in your head, like some are about problems, some about social stuff, some about things being easy. That might help you remember them.
That's a great tip. So thinking about all this, here's a little something for you, our listener, to consider. How might recognizing and understanding just these 10 idioms we talked about today change the way you listen to English? How might it change how you watch movies or join conversations, starting right now?
Interesting question to ponder.
Definitely something to think about. And hey, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a deep dive from the Crystal Clear English podcast.
Please do.
Next time, we're going to explore idioms all about expressing emotions and feelings, which could be perfect if you ever, struggle to say exactly how you feel in English. So don't miss that. Thank you so much for listening to the Crystal Clear English podcast.
Learning another language is like becoming another person.